What's good, yo? What's good? Speak Ya Clout Podcast live every Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'm Mike Sears, and I'm here with my brother, the ways in Northern Ireland, Var Crack.
Yo, what's up, my bro?
What's good, G? Yeah, man. Today, this album turned 30 years last month, and it's one of the most underrated Esham albums ever. We're talking about Judgment Day, released in 1992, the first double album in hip hop history, released separately but on the same day. Volume 1 day, Volume 2 night. A lot of people say, no, Will Smith was the first rapper with a double album. No. The vinyl, yeah.
But not the CD, yeah.
Not the CD. He's a DJ, I'm the rapper. That's like saying Prince 1999 is a double album. No, it ain't. The vinyl is. Not the CD or anything else, not the tape. So this is the first double album, y'all. Straight the fuck up. Esham Judgment Day, man. Like, one of the early on when I got into Esham, one of the first albums that I fucking heard as well. It's underrated as fuck. Only complaint I have, other than some songs I may not be too crazy about, the sound quality is kind of ass. In my personal opinion, it needs to be remastered for sure. For me, anyway. So,
Yeah, it's not too bad. It's just a bit quiet. But I think it sounds okay. It's not as muddy or as muffled as it could be. I think it sounds good enough, but yeah, it's just a bit quiet.
Yeah, it's not like booming, like the overcall booming or the OG, but it does need remastering for sure. For me, for my personal taste, and if Esham does it, it's gonna sound amazing because that fucking EP collection and booming is just superb. Kill the Fetus too, sounds fantastic.
Yeah, and the Nadas ones he did as well for Life After Death and Blasphemy.
Death and Blasphemy, yeah, they sound great too. Fuck yeah. So, Resin, what's popping, bro? I was gonna check something real quick to see if that fucking shit's showing up.
Listen, I'm super excited.
Oh, fucking ad. We get to the album 1 second. Dude said literally never heard of this, so you should. It's a great album.
Yep. It looks all good on my end. I just checked it on YouTube.
Word, got another ad.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Yep, we're good to go. Thanks, Ross.
Yeah, no worries.
I don't know what the fuck happened last week.
I don't know.
But here we go. Esham Judgment Day, man. Start off with Volume 1 day. Get 9 dead bodies, man. I love how the track starts off with the radio samples, and he also samples, ZZ Top, Cheap Sunglasses. I fucking love that song. Coming up on classic rock radio, I hear that a lot, and that riff is killer. I love that shit. I kill preachers with my bare hands, motherfucker gun. That shit's so hard to me, man. Esham was way ahead of his time with the samples. I like at the end, some dude calls and is like, acid rap treatment. And he says, I've been listening to that tape. That shit's fucking hard, bro. Yeah, great way to start off the album, bro.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a very, classic Esham, track in a lot of ways, just, murdering, talking about, these 9 people he's killed in, pretty graphic detail. And, yeah, it's just it's a great track, and like you said, that ZZ Top sample is very dope as well. On this album, compared to Boomin', he definitely experiments more with his sample range. He definitely goes more into the rock kind of direction on this album for sure. And I think Esham was one of the best at picking out sort of rock samples, and a lot of MCs back then weren't didn't pick out rock as samples, you know what I mean? Nope. A lot of people on the East Coast, a lot of the producers focus more on jazz, and on the West Coast, obviously we got all the funk, Parliament, Funkadelic and all that stuff, and Esham samples from all that too. But yeah, with this album, he goes for the rock tip, and you get a good dose of that at the start. 9 Dead Bodies, pretty short track, but what I like about this album, Esham doesn't waste any time, really. Very little time wasted. And I like that phone call at the end. A funny little tidbit about this album. I remember, the rapper Danny Brown, he was talking about, he found this tape on the ground, and he was like listening to it, and then like someone came into his room, was like, "Oh, you listen to that, Esham? Oh, you're gonna be meeting the devil, boy," something like that. I thought that was pretty tough.
Yeah, that was Danny Brown, right?
Yeah, Danny Brown. Yeah. So yeah, people were definitely afraid of Esham.
Oh, for sure.
And a song like this is a good example of that.
Fuck yeah. They did ICP did a jam exam on Carnival of Carnage, and Esham was there. It's some of the funniest shit ever. Like, Esham will not let Jay talk at all. It's hilarious.
Wow.
But Violent J said that Esham used to like rap in the headphones to get that voice. Like, he would rap inside the headphones, like holding it. To get that, like, yeah, that's how he got the little devil voice and shit. But yeah, he has it on this album too. But yeah, great way to start off the album with 9 Dead Bodies. We get into the Boogeyman next, man. Banging beat, love that bass line. Esham flexing his skills, like proclaiming that he's the boogeyman. I'm the unholy, but you already knew that. I got the whole world in my hands because I'm the boogeyman. Fire, bro. Like I said, ahead of its time, especially with the production. Just insane. Like, he did all this shit himself. He's like, what, early 20s, if that, on this album?
He would have been 19, I think.
19, that's crazy. You got 19-year-olds today that don't know how to even fucking put a sentence together, let alone rap. So
actually, I correct myself. 18. He would have been 18.
Damn.
Because his birthday's in September. So yeah, he would have been 18.
Great song.
Yeah, it is a great track. Production wise, it's a lot kind of funkier. This track, but yeah, dope. Kind of just flexing his pen game. You know what I mean? Just he's kind of on the braggadocial tip, but at the same time, still with a dark twist. You know what I mean? In the second verse, he goes, I'd rather be dope than praying and wishing on a hope. That's all she wrote, so fuck John the Pope, He's still getting in that, satanic, unholy shit in there, And of course, later on in life, when he signed with Psychopathic Records, this would become his moniker. He wasn't allowed to call himself the Unholy, so he had to settle with the Boogeyman instead, which isn't nearly as cool, unfortunately. But...
No, it's not. Fucking dumbass Jay.
Yeah. It'll be fresh, hella fresh.
I remember not liking that shit. That thing was whack, but yeah.
Yeah, this is a dope track, though.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. Then we get How Do I Plead a Homicide, man. Oh, man. The track starts off with Sam Kinison talking about Charles Manson getting influenced by the Beatles' White Album. That's hilarious. Sick of it, the Manson murders. It's a fucking album. One of my favorite comedians is Sam Kinison. That dude is a lunatic. R.I.P. to him. But I'm just spitting out Wicket Shit on here, man. Talks about killing a woman. They said her body's mutilated. Can't get an ID because I shot her in the face and took a hammer and bust out her teeth. Hard, yo. Also talks about being on trial for the murder. Just vivid storytelling from E. That Steve Miller sample throughout is great. I love that shit. He tries to plead sanity for the murder, ends up getting convicted. This is next level shit right here. Amazing storytelling, fucking production. Like I said, the samples. This is an 18-year-old, y'all. Seriously, incredible. Love that song.
Yeah, an 18-year-old and like making music back then was hard. Like, these days anyone can make an album, but like back then, to get the equipment and actually like record it and be able to put it out there yourself, incredible. I agree with you. You pretty much nailed this track. Great storytelling throughout. I love the Steve Miller Band sample, all the way through. And just showing off that he can tell a story. And he just sounds so great. Like, I think listening to this album, he definitely steps up his pen game compared to Booming Words from Hell, big time. And this track is a great example of that. Even pay his homage to Ice-T at the start. 6 a.m, police at my door. Definitely paying homage to Ice-T with that. And a great track. Possibly one of my favorites on the album, actually. Maybe not necessarily like beat wise, but just like in terms of like storytelling and lyrical content, it's definitely one of my favorites on here.
Fuck yeah, I love that shit. Great song. Then next we get I'd Rather Be Dead. Oh my god. Esham talks about life ills, dealing with racism in America, how he'd rather be dead than living in that climate. Also talks about his dad freebasing. Eerie beat with dope samples, man. Dope song for sure. Definitely a standout for me. I love that track. I'd rather be dead.
Yeah, I love the song too. It's very dark, obviously, talking about not wanting to continue on anymore, and very dark subject matter. But he does it so well, and love the beat for this. Very minimalistic, but like it just works. Just that kind of like repetitive, like doom 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 doom. Like it just works. You know what I mean? It's like sort of the backdrop to this haunting track, and it's very real. This is something that a lot of people go through every day. And yeah, I mean, not many people were wanting to talk about stuff like this back in the day, and even now it's still very much taboo. But like 30 years ago, like no other rapper was talking about stuff like this. No way. So
No, hell no.
yeah, I'd rather be dead. Again, another one of the highlights on the album for me. And yeah, it's just great. It shows that Esham, even though like this is a very dark song, it's also a conscious song too, and it's a very real song. And
Fuck yeah.
yeah, when he does quote unquote wicked shit, it's not just all like blood and guts. It's like he talks about dark topics that most people aren't going to want to talk about. So yeah, I'd rather be dead. Really great track, and love his delivery on this song too. Like he has the perfect like. It feels so real, you know what I mean? He has that authentic, it's one of those things where like a lot of artists say that they're sad or mad or whatever, but if you don't feel it, then it doesn't, come off correctly. But with, Esham, when he's spitting these lyrics, it's like you can feel it. It feels real. And
I like how you say that because it's so true in music. Like, I don't know, Linkin Park, it's trying to sound like fake whining, but Slipknot on Iowa, that's real pain to me.
yeah,
it's real pain. So I can relate to
for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd rather be dead. Another fantastic track, really. I love it.
Absolutely. Now, ultimately, this is like, Jesus Christ. One of my favorite Esham songs, period. Mama Was a Junkie. One of the greatest Esham songs ever. I love the dark and somber beat. The aroma of bass makes me choke. I can almost die from the smell of the crack smoke. Different men going out and coming in. I love that. The crack epidemic was at an all-time high in the early 90s, so this was so powerful, man. He also talks about how the police doesn't care about his mother's addiction. Also talks about how his mom's addiction even goes back to shooting heroin in the 70s. Eventually, she ends up passing away from the crack addiction. He touches on how he wishes how he could have said he loved her before she passed. One of my favorite songs within any genre. This should be up there with the great songs from Ice Cube and Scarface. You know what I'm saying? Vivid storytelling. Like when niggas like hip hop and they don't fuck with E, I don't know about them, I just scratch my fucking head. For instance, I was in a fucking call with some heads on Instagram and I mentioned Esham. Before I can even finish the sentence, they nah, I don't fuck with that. I don't fuck with that. That's a hardcore shit.
Wow.
Yeah, man. So songs like Mama Was a Junkie, like niggas need to really listen to that, bro. That's so fucking vivid and real. And the way he tells a story, incredible. Worship this song.
Yeah, I think this is the best song on both discs. I think this is the best song, period, from Judgement Day. Yeah. And I think it's one of the best things he's ever done. Also, I know we did like top 15 or top 20 Esham songs ages ago. I can't remember. It's on that list somewhere. I can't remember where, but like
it's on both our lists. Maybe I can't remember.
Yeah. But this song is absolutely incredible. Yeah, I agree with you. Like this is like his Brenda's Got a Baby or something like that. Like this song should be known by everyone. It's up there with like Man Playing Tricks with Me. By Ghetto Boys, you know what I mean? It's that caliber, you know what I mean? Again, talking about, real topics here. His delivery in this song is perfect. That sort of like hopelessness to his voice feels very real. And that beat as well, that sample. Doom, 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 doom. it's perfect for this song. I know, like, I've heard that sample used a few times by other artists. I think K Reno rapped over it, but like, this is my
Yeah.
favorite song that ever used that beat. And yeah, again, just such a vivid story that he tells of, obviously his mother going through, like you said, the crack epidemic, which was, really big in the 90s and 80s. And yeah, just such a vivid story of that. And yeah, amazing track, even, talking about the cops on there, where were the police when she was buying this? But I know that police could give a fuck less,
Yup.
And yeah, incredible. And of course, like you said, ends up with the mother dying in the end. And yeah, it's one of my favorite songs. Like you said, probably ever for me as well.
Guys,
Absolutely incredible, and it's something different for him. I definitely my favorite like conscious Esham's track. Out of all the ones he's ever done.
yeah.
And yeah, it's a masterpiece. It should have like a video, and it should be awarded all kinds of awards.
It
But
should.
yeah,
It
it
pisses me
never
off.
did, for sure.
Yeah, man. So fucking good. Now we get Once You Go Black. Esham talking about white women having an attraction for the black man. Around this time, interracial dating was controversial, which it shouldn't have been. It wasn't the 1950s, but the year prior to this, I think Spike Lee touched on this topic greatly on the movie Jungle Fever. Not the usual sex song, so I quite like this. You know what I'm saying? Dope. I have no problems with it.
Yeah, I like it too. It's quite a fun track. You know what I mean? It's a good palate cleanser from, I'd Rather Be Dead and Mama Was a Junkie, which are very dark, heavy subject matter. This song's a little bit more kind of upbeat and a little bit more
Yeah.
fun. And yeah, like he says, it kind of reminds me of like Cave Bitch in a Little Way by Ice Cube, which of course would come out later, but it's just sort of like, in that song, Ice Cube said, now you want Mandingo, you know what I mean? It's kind of talking about, once you get with the black guy, that's it, you know what I mean? You can't go back to that whack ass white guy anymore. So yeah, dope song. But I don't take it that seriously. I just see it as a bit of fun. And like you said, like I said, sort of like a good way to follow up such a heavy song with Mama Was a Junkie. And this album overall, both Judgment Day disc, a lot of variety. So like, and you never get really stuck on one kind of subject for too long. He's pretty good at mixing it up, and this is a good example of that. Not one of my ultimate favorites, but it's still a dope track, and I think it serves its purpose well.
Fuck yeah. These fucking trolls are gay as fuck, bro. Jesus Christ. Anyway, now we get making more music. We get an intro with someone of Black Militants talking. Each song just flowing over a funky beat. He talking about how the radio won't play him because he's unholy. He killed that shit for sure. Not let me see much about it lyrically, but yeah, don't try.
Yeah, and like the title and the hook, making more music than your body can stand, like that is so true of him back then. Like he cranked out a double album here with Judgment Day. He cranked out the Nada's Life After Death album. He he did so much like unreleased stuff around this time period as well. It's like, yeah, he was cranking out music at this point. And yeah, incredibly impressive. And again, maybe not one of my ultimate favorites, but it's still a very dope track. And yeah, he sounds great over again, kind of like a slightly more kind of funkier production on this track. And yeah, he's just kind of flowing and bragging on this track. It's a dope track for sure, making more music.
Fuck yeah. Now we get Hit and Run. Dope beat, very bass heavy, but ultimately, I'm not a huge fan of it. I'm just not. Typical sex song where each song brags about running through various bitches. The scratching is fire on here, though.
Oh, with the car sample?
Yeah, it's just fire. But you put the lips on my dick like an OE. Best thing about the joint is the beat for sure, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's pretty good. I know Esham sex songs can be a little bit hit and miss. Like erotic poetry as an entire EP is pretty miss, but occasionally I think he can do pretty good ones. And this is one of the better ones. Again,
Yeah,
I
it's
agree
not
with
whack.
you.
I'm just not a big fan. So
Yeah, I respect that. I mean, I agree with you. Like the production is very good in this track, and I think I just like him rapping over that production. So I guess that's sort of a big part of it for me. But yeah, I totally get it. Like lyrically, it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea. I quite enjoy it. I quite enjoy the fact that he's using like a car sample to go with the title, it's a hit and run, and then it got the scratching on there. I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, it's not one of my ultimate favorites, but I guess I like it a bit more than you do.
yeah, it's all
Yeah.
good. Yeah. All right. Next, man, song I do like, man. Thinking to myself, dope beat for sure. This beat is like a pussy to me, so I'm gonna dick it. Just flexing his skills, spitting that acid rap again. Them samples he uses ahead of its time, like I said before, just definitely a dope track.
Yeah, this is another dope track. Again, this one is probably quite a bass heavy, like kind of thumping kind of beat for sure. And he kind of flexes his pen on here. Um, yeah, I like. There are a lot of dope lines on this track. Like when he says, "Thou shalt not diss Esham, that's a sin. My favorite number 666. So guess again. And if you feel the need to pray, say amen." That's pretty dope. He killed it. And
Okay.
just doing his thing on here. Again, braggadocial rap, but with a little kind of dark twist. You know what I mean? Making reference to the devil and stuff like that. The way Esham does. Very dope track. Nothing much else to say about it.
Okay. Now we get Fallen Angel.
Oh,
Man, this is fuck. Each time I'm talking about being in hell, talking about his sins, death, the wicked shit, cross my heart and hope to die. It's written on my grave, man. Like, dope ass song. I love this shit, man. Dark as fuck. Definitely a standout for me. Fallen Angel.
yeah, I love this song too. This is another like kind of more conscious track. Quite not necessarily autobiographical, but like it kind of comes off that way. It's like when he opens the first verse in, "I was unplanned pregnancy brought forth by a mistake, born into a world filled up with lust and hate." Like what a way to kick off the song. And again, he has that perfect delivery where he has that kind of hopelessness in his voice, and he like, I don't know, you can tell that he's been through a lot and he doesn't know what the future is going to hold for him. Yeah, incredible. And love the beat for this song too. Perfect for the subject matter. It's not like a dark beat, but it's kind of like a moody. I don't know. It feels like he's been through a lot. The beat really kind of reflects that well. And great song. Towards the end of the first verse, I love when he says, um, "Death is my fate in this hell, but never knowing when. How did I survive without sin? But thou shalt not kill was my first. Then I broke all 10 commandments. I guess I'm doomed to go to hell."
This is hard.
Hard, dark, but at the same time comes across very real. And one of my favorites on the album for sure as well.
Fuck yeah. Dope track, man. You broke that down lovely, like always, my G. So we get to
Thank you.
hell yeah. Then we get to I met this girlie. Each time talking about his various sexy page, running through bitches. Kind of on his too short shit on this joint, you know what I'm saying? Again, not one of my ultimate favorites. But the next couple tracks,
He's kind of like on his Run DMC. It's tricky kind of tip here,
the way he's rapping, yeah.
Yeah. I like Hit and Run more than this song. Personally, it's not terrible, but it's not one of my favorites. Again, I guess maybe kind of nice as a palate cleanser after Fallen Angel, but on its own, definitely not one of my favorites. But It's okay. I mean, this for me, this album has like no skips. Both discs, no skips. So even like the songs that I don't like as much, I still listen to them. So yeah, it's not one of my favorites. I Met This Little Girlie, but it's okay. It's decent.
Yeah, doesn't really rock with that too tough. But his next song, Jesus Christ, is definitely ultimately one of my favorites. Acid.
Oh yeah.
One of my favorite Esham songs ever. I got you all strung out on acid. I love that. He said, shoot it, smoke it, sniff it, or just listen to it. Because back then, Esham was on acid, literally. I love how he uses the play on the word on that, acid being a psychedelic drug while talking about acid rap. Nigga said, to bite my stud, you have to go to hell first. I'm at Elvis in hell, but who will tell the tale of everything that I did unless you put it on your tongue and do that acid. That shit is fire, bro.
Yeah, another great song. I like the rock sample in the background here, works really well. And yeah, you broke it down great. Just like, like you said, talking about acid the drug, but at the same time, he's talking about that acid rap. You know what I mean? And that's, you're listening to. So yeah, very dope song. It's got the little Fat Boys sample in there in between the verses. That little kind of piano bit. I believe that's a Fat Boy sample, but yeah. Very dope track. Yeah, just Esham, at its best, really, just kicking that. Yeah, like it's a mixture between kind of like braggadocio rap, but it's got that darkness to it, and yeah, great track, kicking that acid, love it.
Yeah, ultimately one of my favorites, man. I fucking love that shit. So fucking good. Then we get Devilish Mood, banging beat. Esham talks about that evil shit on here, just terrorizing people. I'm starving just like Marvin, so I'm going to get me a butcher knife and start carving. Love this song. So fucking good to me. Like that whole, from fucking acid to the end, is like all good shit. Love it.
Yeah, this is another highlight on the album for me. I love the beat. Uses that Superfly sample from Curtis Mayfield, which has been used a lot. But yeah, he sounds great over it. Love the intro where he's like, "I'm in a devilish mood." That's cool. And yeah, he just does great on this track. Yeah, this is just one of those kind of crazy, like kill people kind of songs. Kind of reminiscent of like Nine Dead Bodies or something like that earlier on in the album. And yeah, very dope song. And then later on, it sort of breaks into is it Smoke in the Water? Another like rock sample yeah. Very dope song. And yeah, just another one of those kind of like crazy tracks. But yeah, he raps pretty fast in this song. It's definitely one of the faster tracks on the album. And yeah, great track.
Fuck yeah. My ultimate favorites too on there. It's great.
Yeah.
Then we get My Last Words. Excellent production. Esham giving the middle finger to radio and censorship. Love the Ice Cube sample. For all y'all hoping for my downfall, fuck all y'all. Yeah, I got some last words. Fuck all y'all.
Yeah,
got some
on
balls
that
for
Ice Cube
Elvis.
tip. Yeah.
Yo, you got some balls for Elvis on here too, man. Love that shit. So fucking good.
Yeah, this is the ultimate, like, screw you if you don't like me song.
Absolutely.
He goes at everyone, he says, you see the radio won't play my music. If I say suck my dick, they refuse it. Fuck the radio. Now what you want to do? Fuck 107.5, fuck channel 52, like, love that. He goes after parents and teachers, the church house, and the preacher at the start of the next verse. And yeah, great song. Love the beat on here. Very banging. Very punchy, kind of violent beat. And yeah, love the song. So ignorant and so yeah, hard at the same time. And yeah, another highlight on the album for me. Love it.
Fucking hard.
Yeah,
so
it
good.
is.
Love that shit. Now we get my favorite song on the whole shit. Both discs completely. Love this shit. Losing My Religion. Hands down my favorite song on the album. Just absolute perfection. So eerie. with the preacher talking and that "Hey Little Angel," that sample.
Yep.
Oh, so hard. Each time talks about crooked preachers that actually slang cocaine. That Bible study's not my buddy. Shank the preacher, now my hands are all bloody. Daily gossip, religious philosophies. Nigga, please, I'm losing my religion. So fucking hard. But that shit.
Yeah.
First on the
Yeah.
album.
Great way to end off the first disc, the day disc. Again, he just kind of sounds like he's at the end of his rope on this song. He's just like, yo, I'm losing my religion. Like I'm moving on without this sort of thing. And great song. Love the sample in the background. A lot of you guys will probably know it from like, How Do You Want It by Tupac and stuff like that. But yeah,
Yep.
Great track. Love the part where he says, can I lose religion every day? It's a habit. Is religion just for kids, or am I a silly rabbit? That's pretty dope. And that part towards the end, shank, Bible study's not my buddy. Shank the preacher, now my hands all bloody. It's just so dope, so vivid, and fantastic song. And again, kind of on that sort of like depressing kind of conscious tip, but at the same time, dark and just completely unlike anything else in 92. Like nothing like this out there. So yeah, love this track. Great way to end off the first disc.
Fuck yeah, man. Great way to end it off. Fucking favorite song on both discs is that. Those are my religion.
Yeah. Not mad at that.
So we get volume 2 Night. Judgment Day, super classic track. It samples my favorite band of all fucking time, the Mighty Black Sabbath. War Pigs Are Paranoid. Each time talking about crooked religion and how they're the real evil in the world. Love the track. The way he just samples Ozzy in there, like the vocal is crazy good. Yeah, Judgment Day is fucking amazing. Great way to start off the album, the second part of the album.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about this, during the week. Like, you may think going into it that like Day is going to be like, a relatively sort of, bright album, and then Night's going to be like where all the dark stuff is. It's like, nah, Day's just as dark as Night, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, Judgment Day, what a great way to kick off the second disc. The title track, like you said, samples War Pigs, Black Sabbath, classic right there. And Esham just coming out hard with this track. I love the part where he says, time to pay back, so hit the playback. Visions of killing preachers and a psychotic flashback. He's just kind of rapping hard and fast on this track over that, War Pig sample. And love how he flipped that for the outro as well. Satan laughing, oh Lord, yeah, Satan laughing.
Shit. Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah,
yeah, just it's very dope. And great way to kick off the second disc for sure. Explosive way to kick things off.
Absolutely, man. That shit is hard as fuck. Love that shit. Now we get Living in Incest. Man. Title speaks for itself. He speaks on a father molesting his daughter on the first verse. The second verse, Esham goes at the Jacksons, calls Latoya a hoe, says Michael Jackson got fucked in his ass, and he samples Eddie Murphy, Delirious.
Yeah.
I love MJ. That shit had a nigga dying. Eddie Murphy's like, Tito, stop teasing, give me some tissue, whatever. Oh my God. Dog, I died laughing. And I love Michael Jackson. Well, that shit is hilarious. He also talks about wanting to date a girl, but her dad won't let her date him because he's fucking her. Just sick shit that happens in this world. But yeah, Living in Incest. Dope ass track. To me, I love that shit.
This is, it depends on your perspective, but this might be the darkest song in the whole album. Like,
yeah, it's just hard, bro.
Very twisted subject matter, but again, very real, unfortunately. Like, yeah, there are people out there that do this, and yeah, again, no one else is gonna rap about a subject like this. Absolutely not, especially in '92. I like this song. The production on this song is pretty dark and minimalistic, but again, I think that works really well for the subject matter. and in a way, like even though the production is dark, it has that little kind of vocal sample going ooh ooh, making it seem like
Yeah,
trying to make it seem like it's okay. You know what I mean? That's kind of what I get from that. It's like it's a dark beat, but in a way they're trying to, smooth over it. And he's talking about that in the song. It's like Daddy's doing this bad stuff, but at the same time, he's lying. Making it seem like it's all okay. And very very dark track, but he did a great job. Covering it, and yeah, it's it's a weird one to talk about. I don't know if it's one of my favorites, but it's a good track. I do like it, but it's
yeah.
an awkward listen. You know what I mean? It's
Definitely.
it's not something you want to listen to a lot of the time. But yeah, it's a good song.
Yeah, it's just great, man. Love that
Yeah.
shit. Then we get Play Dead, another track with the dope beat, crazy samples. Esham spitting that wicked shit. I didn't really quote nothing or nothing like that, but Play Dead is dope for sure. Dope track.
Yeah, I really like this song. Like you said, great beat, very kind of bumping, kind of driving beat.
Yeah.
And again, it's just kind of Esham, doing what he does, where he's just kind of talking about, going through life, like just the struggles of what he's going through and what he's thinking at that time period. And really, really dope track. Don't know if it's one of my favorites, but it's definitely a dope track. He sounds great over that production. And not much else to say. I don't really have any lines to quote off it either, but it's a very dope track.
Oh yeah. Fuck yeah, man. Love that shit. Now, this is definitely one of my favorites on the album for sure, man.
Mm-hmm.
So fucking good. 13 Ways, man. Oh, so fucking dope. This is why he's the king of this genre, Each time I'm talking about 13 ways to commit suicide, he talks about slitting his wrist, playing Russian roulette. Then he gives instructions on hanging yourself from a tree. Also touches on tying a big rock to your foot, jumping in a deep lake, drinking gas, getting drunk and driving on the freeway on the wrong side, jumping off a tall building. Then ultimately, he suggests putting a gun in your mouth and blowing your brains out. Fucking hard out there. Like, that shit is just grimy as fuck. I don't condone suicide and shit, but this is music, bruh. And he does that shit very well. Shit's hard. 13 Ways, man. So good.
Yeah, I really like this track too. Obviously very dark subject matter, but at the same time, I love the way that he's rapping over quite a relatively jolly, upbeat kind of production on this here song, even though the actual subject matter is so dark. He's almost sort of it's like an instructional guide. This is kind of like 10 crack commandments, but for it's sort of it's kind of how I take it, very dark track, but he does it so well. His rapping is on point on this song, and just the creativity to make a song like this is very good. And I don't condone it either, but it's a great track, and there's nothing else out there like it. So 13 Ways, great track, and great production too.
Absolutely. Love that shit. Now we get Finger in the Cake Mix. Sex song, I don't like that much. I keep it 1,000 at all. E talking about fingering bitches. If I was to give it some credit, it's dope how E does that stutter flow towards the end. I thought it was pretty dope. But
I know the part you're talking about. Drink some fuck. That third part, yeah.
Yeah, it's fire. Yeah, it is fire. But I don't like the song. Ultimately, I can't get into it.
I understand. again, it's not one of my favorites, but it is quite fun. It's quite a fun track, and again, it comes after a dark. It's good sequencing because these sex tracks
Yeah.
always come after like a dark song, so it's like, oh, this is a bit of fun. It sort of reminds me. There's a Mr. Bungle song called "Squeeze Me Macaroni" on the first album, and it's
Yep.
kind of like a sex track but with food, and that's it's kind of what I'm getting from this track as well. Because he's using a lot of food. To sort of describe what he's up to in the song. It is a sex song, but he sort of hides it behind a bunch of food references. And it's not one of my ultimate favorites either, but it's a bit of fun. And yeah, I do like that sort of flow he does towards the end as well.
That shit was
He's
dope.
not as good as Spice One, but yeah, pretty dope.
Yeah. Spice is the king of that shit.
Yeah, he is.
Next, we get The Devil Gets Funky. I love how he samples the classic Richard Pryor, The Exorcist skit off the, I think it's Nigga Please album. I forget the title of that album, but each time spitting that wicked shit. I got a knife and I'll cut your throat, and I'm stabbing any motherfucker who says I wasn't dope. Shit's hard, but that
is hard.
the funky ass smell. I love that sample because that album is alive. Oh, this nigga's crazy. That's the name of it. It popped in my head. Yeah. This nigga's crazy. It's from like 71 or some shit. Somewhere around there. 70, no. It just came out 73, so it gotta be like 74 maybe? Yeah.
What the fuck is that funky smell?
Yeah. What the fuck is that funky smell? Classic, bro.
Yeah, The Devil Gets Funky. It's a dope track. Production on here, again, on the rock tip, kind of slightly more laid back compared to some of the other songs in the album, but, still has a darkness to it for sure. And Esham, he does great on here. I like when he kicks off the second verse where he says, now is the unholy sacrifice, you'll pay the price, crucified like Christ on the mic. Like that's crazy hard. Really, really cool song. Definitely one of the better tracks, or one of the highlights on the second disc, I would say, for sure. I don't know about overall if you're counting both discs, but on disc 2, I would say it's probably one of the highlights for sure.
Okay. Then we get Crib Death. Crazy guitar riff on this joint. Each album sounds so fucking evil on here, man. Dope song. I didn't really say too much about it, but it's definitely, it's a dope song. Crib Death.
Yeah, this is a dope track. Pretty short track, only about 2 minutes, but I love the hard, like the rock sample, dum 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 dum. Very cool way to kick off the album. Samples, Ice-T, the first impression skit at the start of OG Original Gangsta. How call motherfucker, that there skit. Samples that, and really cool way to kick off the song. And then when it kicks in, like he says, I hear screams at midnight. You're biting the dust. Cause my verse is cursed. So dangerous. Your mind's bust. Like his delivery on this song is very evil and very dope. You know what I mean? He's not rapping in his normal style. He's kind of like saying the words more than anything. I definitely think Ice-T was probably a big influence on him.
Oh, for sure.
Because Ice-T was one of the first, rappers to sort of introduce like rock music as well. He was obviously rocking with Body Count around this time and stuff, and he samples that, where he says, anyone who said I sold out can basically suck my dick because I don't give a fuck about that shit. Remember before?
Yeah, about like being in a metal band and all that.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. So cool to have that sample on here, and great song. I think it's even though it's short, I think it's a very dope track, very dark, and big fan. Crib Death.
Fucking amazing. Now we get Dead by Day, man. Each time speaking of racism, blacks kill blacks and white kill themselves. Also talks about the government being crooked. I ain't no racist because we got red blood, just different faces. I love this song. Especially at that time in the early 90s where shit was crazy with the racism and war on drugs and all that. But yeah, man, Dead by Day is definitely a dope song for me.
Yeah, this is a dope track. I like the production on this a lot too. Like the synths on this remind me of like like Bay Area, like Ant Banks or like Funk Daddy or like a producer like that. You know,
Yeah.
very kind of acidy kind of synths. You know what I mean? Like liquidy kind of sound. Very very cool. And dope lyrics from Esham. Not much else to say that you didn't cover. So dope kind of deep cut in the album Day by Day. Again, another kind of short one, but Esham, he's one of the best at like not wasting your time. He tells you what he needs, he needs you to hear, and that's it. So dope track for sure.
Fuck yeah. Now we get Wake the Dead.
Ooh.
Man, we get a heavy, unique beat with Esham spitting, flexing his skills, spitting that wicked shit. Not a keep crusader like Batman. It's fucking dope. Another reason why I think motherfuckers should listen to Esham, bro. That's just perfect music for me. Wake the Dead. That shit, that sample, fucking hard. And like the shouting, Wake the Dead, fire.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, great song.
Yeah, I love this song. One of my favorite tracks in the whole double album for sure. Even just how he kicks it off. I picked up a holy Bible and it burned my hands. Tonight, all the dead in the cemetery will dance. Like, yeah, bang and beat that down, down, down. Like, just very dope, kind of explosive. This beat. And my favorite part is towards the end, where he says, I'll never stuck up, so shut the fuck up, because talking some shit about me will run your luck up. Like, just how he says it, and in the background, the beat is like exploding at the same. It's going crazy when he says that. It's my favorite part of the song for sure. And one of the highlights for me. I love this song, Wake the Dead.
So fucking good, dog.
Yeah, he's so pissed on that. I love it.
I agree with Violent J, the country singer. You'll bang your head to that wake that up. Yeah, shit's fire, bro.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So
Speaking of Violent J, wasn't there a nice EP cover of Judgment Day, like the song?
Yeah, on a Hollow Wicked. I don't know what Hollow Wicked year it was. I have the single. My boy Jeremiah gave it to me. But I can't remember if they did a good job or not. I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, they did. All right.
Yeah, Wake the Dead's crazy.
That's so fucking good. Unfortunately, this next song is just terrible. But for me personally, Dumb Bitch, I don't like it. Not a fan at all. Keep it 1,000.
Yeah, it's a bit of a filler track, isn't it? It's only a minute and a half long. It's kind of like a less good version of Hit and Run. Even raps in like a similar cadence, and like the beat's kind of similar. Like, it's not as good though. It's kind of upbeat and kind of funky. But yeah, no, it's not one of my favorites either. I still listen to it, but yeah, maybe it's helped by the fact that it's only a minute and a half long, I guess. But yeah, it's not. It's probably one of my least favorites too.
Yeah, definitely for me, dog. I wasn't fucking with it. But a song that is fucking great to me. You want to know something? Fucking fire. Samples in there where Express Yourself and Deep Purple Smoke Underwater. I'll snatch your tongue out your mouth and then you have to hum. That shit is fucking hard, bro. Fucking Esham, one of my favorites ever, bro. Worship that song. Great ass song right there.
Yeah, again, it's another short one. This one's like a minute 20 or something like that. But yeah, it's not one of my favorites, but it's a good track. I've got nothing really bad to say about it. Just Esham, again, just doing his thing. I like where he says, I'm sending out no special thanks, and bitches wonder why I diss him because they motherfucking pussy stinks. I'm going straight to the bank, and if I ever bust a cap, it won't be no blank. That's pretty dope. So not one of my ultimate favorites, but it's a dope track. It's just a dope verse over, like you said, that express yourself stroke smoke in the water beat. Interesting combination, but it works. On paper it sounds very strange, but yeah, it works
for sure. Now we get Hoe Roll. Esham talks about being horny, needing to bust a nut and fuck a hoe. Not a fan. Just not a fan.
Yeah, again, this is probably a bit of a filler track. Sort of reminds me a little bit of, it's not as good as the song, honestly. On Another Level by Ghetto Boys, the Bushwick Bill song on We Can't Be
Yeah,
Stopped.
we can't be stopped. Yeah,
Yeah, but I like that better than this, so maybe
so
it's
do
not a
I.
not a good example. But yeah, like the beat doesn't really do much for me. It's just kind of there in the background, and yeah, just kind of another sexual track. He's trying to flex his pen game a little bit. It's like he's telling the story of this track, but it's just not really one I want to listen to. And yeah, it's just not one of my favorites. I agree with you.
Who the fuck am I to tell an artist what he can do with his music? But I prefer E to be just strictly wicked shit and like, dealing with talking about killing KKK and shit. Like shit like that. I don't some sex songs are amazing. Like Prophylactic Tactics or fucking Do You Believe is my favorite sex song of all time. Any
Yeah.
genre. But I'm not a big fan of that shit, is it not? I'm a big fan of Necro's earlier shit. I never liked the Sexorcist. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, well, even with Necro, like he had that, on your knees track and stuff like that, which
yeah.
I actually do quite like because of the sample,
The sample and beat is fire, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But
I love Pussy like the next nigga. I love it, but come on.
yeah, he's hit and miss with me for that stuff. Some of it I dig, some of it I don't. Like Spent My Last in a Hoe on Life After Death.
Oh,
Love
that's
that.
great.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I agree with you. It's not one of my favorites for sure.
Now, fortunately for us, we get some great songs here for me.
Yeah, it ends very strong.
Yeah, you get Dying to Be Down. Esham talks about dudes that never rock with him and now they want to be down. Love the subject matter with the song. Once a punk ass nigga, always one, dog. Like that's some real shit. Real shit.
Yeah, dope track. I like he's sampling Steve Miller Band again. This time the Joker, which
Yeah.
again it's mentioned Ghetto Boys. They sampled that with Gangster of Love, the original version before they had to change it to the Miller sample. But yeah, pretty dope track. It's not one of my ultimate favorites, but it's pretty dope. He sounds good over that production, and yeah, I like it. It's not one of my ultimate favorites, but it's pretty cool.
Fuck yeah. All right. Next we get Some of Your Soul.
Oh, I love this one.
I do too, man.
Yeah.
Esham touching on crooked ass preachers again. This was big at the time because fake ass televangelists was saying they could heal people, make people
Robert Tilton
walk.
and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Which I'll get to that later. I was gonna touch on something, but fake ass televangelists was saying they could make heal people, make people walk after being in a wheelchair, make blind people see. Dope song. And my favorite death metal band of all time, Death, touched on that on Spiritual Healing. The album cover is amazing. Ed Repka. You got the televangelist touching the dude in the wheelchair's head. It's fucking hard. Google that, people, if you've never seen it. But yeah, Some of Your Soul is hard, bro. Love that song.
Yeah, I love the song. Love the beat for it. Samples, Parliament with Funkadelic. Parliament with the Flashlight song. Love that.
Flashlight, yup.
Yeah, can't go wrong with that. And yeah, he does a great job breaking down like basically corrupt religious people. Basically saying that money's going to go towards a new house or a new car or whatever, and they basically lying, saying that they're going to help you and do this and do that when really the only thing you're helping is their pockets. So yeah, just the way he breaks that down, really fantastic. And yeah, great track over a dope production. Not much more to say. One of my favorites on the album for sure.
Yeah, I fucking love it. And now we close out Volume 2 Night with we got some non-believers. Man. Dope, fast-paced beat. Sounds like it could have been a life of the death for me. I get that life of the death feel. I don't waste time for all you suckers. I'll just see you at the finish line. Hard. Great way to end it. Love that shit.
Yeah, great way to leave off the album. like you said, very fast paced. Kind of reminds me of Devilish Mood, but even like faster than that. And yeah, great track. Just kind of him flexing his skills, and yeah, great stuff. Commercial, universal, don't matter. Everyone dies when my shotgun scatters.
Fucking so hard.
It is, it's a really great track, and only 2 minutes, but that's all you need when you're rapping this fast. So, yeah, love it. Really, really great way to leave things off, and yeah, just great production too. Just
Yeah.
like that kind of like crazy like vocal sample in the background, like that. That sounds crazy, and yeah, very, very yeah, great track for sure.
Yeah. You know, you're doing Speak Your Clout. That was Esham, Judgment Day. First double album in hip hop history. It celebrated 30 years last month. You know, we're doing Speak Your Clout. We give you the classic Sauce magazine mic rating and our top 3 songs. For me, top 3 songs for me on this record would have it's the Awesome Day. But I'll pick a night one too, just to, like a little bonus round. But it's fucking Losing My Religion. Mama Was a Junkie and Acid. Hands down.
Yeah,
Now, off night, probably Judgment Day. Love that song so much. So, yeah, there you go. And for the mic rating, I give it a strong 4. It don't get the 4.5 or 5 mics because them fucking sex songs are horrible. I don't like them. This is me, and I don't like them. You know?
yeah, I understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is a really great double album and a really good follow up to his first album, Booming Words from Hell. Pretty
Yep.
similar, but like at the same time, he definitely stepped up his pen game on this album. I think the actual songs are a lot better too. Just like production wise, like his voice, like his rapping's a lot better on this album. And it's just like a really solid improvement over the first album, which is still great, Booming Words from Hell, but this is a step up in my opinion. And I really like the fact that both discs are about the same length. They're like 46 minutes, and that they have roughly about the same number of songs as well. I'm sure that's like, somewhat by accident, but it's just dope that they're both pretty much the same length. And whether you choose to listen to them separately or like together, it's a very easy listen. And very consistent. There are a few maybe not amazing tracks on here, but generally speaking, I can listen to the whole thing very easily. Even the songs that aren't my favorites, I still listen to them. And overall, really great album. Whether you're listening to the disc separately or together, it's still fantastic. My top 3 songs are going to be Mama Was a Junkie, and it's kind of hard. I would say My Last Words. Love that.
Mm-hmm.
And Wake the Dead, possibly from Night. It's that sounds so crazy, but it's a tough one. There are loads of really good songs obviously you got about 30 songs to choose from, and most of them are really great. Fallen Angels, incredible. That's one of my favorites. It is. I'd Rather Be Dead's amazing. 13 Ways. Like, I love all the dark stuff on here. Like, some of his darkest material, I think, is on Judgment Day, and incredible stuff. So I'll give it the 4.5 for me. Maybe I'm a bit biased because Esham's my favorite, but
not mad at that at all, though.
yeah. And the sex songs don't bother me as much. I think they serve their purpose on the album, but not a perfect release, but overall, like I said, I think it's a great follow-up from Booming Words. And I think for me, Esham was one of those guys, he got better and better up to a certain point. He sort of peaked in the mid to late 90s. But going from Booming to Judgment Day to Kill the Fetus, like, he was growing as he went on and got better and better. So loved listening to this week. Really big fan of both of these discs, and great to finally review it.
Fuck yeah. And shout out to DJ Black Hurricane with that $5 super chat. He said, great review, guys.
Well, thank you very much. Much appreciated.
Yeah. Judgment Day 3 and 4 are good as well. Shout out to Ross for the hookup on that because that is out of print like a bitch.
Yeah. And obviously, like some of that stuff was recorded definitely in the Judgment Day era, and some of that stuff is fire. Like some of that stuff, I think if it was cleaned up and mastered, like the way the actual Volume 1 and Volume 2 are, like I think they probably would have been better than a few of the songs that are on there. Like Preacher's Daughter, that song is dope. There's a few really dope tracks that definitely would have fit on here.
And
For
Nothing
sure.
That joint is crazy, but that's like more like Closed Casket era, isn't it?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you can tell by the production. And I think he says on it, ever since Blasphemy, there's a line like that on there.
Yeah.
So it had to be like 94 for sure. But yeah, there's some really dope tracks on both Volume 3 and Volume 4.
I really enjoy reviewing this RLP shit, dog. Like it's so much fun. It's my favorite
Yeah.
shit. It's my favorite shit, period. Like it has to be like up there with like I like this shit just as much as like Nas and Wu. I worship
Yeah.
this shit, so
Yeah. I know we've got more coming. We got we've covered the 92 stuff. Later on we'll be doing the 97 stuff. So yeah.
absolutely, yeah, man. We'll just say it right here. We got Multi-Millionaire from Nodis coming, later this year, and Bruce Wayne, Gotham City, 1987. Can't wait.
Who is Bruce Wayne? He's a sex machine and the king of the dope fiends.
So good. So fucking good. That nigga, Mo Badass body that record. Just like he did on fucking Multi. I love him. That dude's ill.
Yep.
So yeah, we be doing that. So next week, I think we go to 1997, man. OC Jewels, man.
Nice.
Yeah, then after that, we got Gangstar Daily Operation, which I'm fucking ecstatic for.
Yeah, like back to back Primo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking great. Then Bruce Wayne. Love that album. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I love it too.
So good. Underrated.
It is underrated, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I love that album. Only skips for me is the R&B bitch. Other than that, oh fuck. And I love R&B. I just don't want it on a fucking Esham album.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe like Esham was trying to like put himself out there as like, yo, if you want me to produce R&B, I can. Like was he trying to get people to like hire him? I don't know. That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, probably. But a sex song that I do love. How's about you and me and a bottle of Remy? That shit fucking hard. Great.
I'm playing with your clip while I'm jacking my Jimmy. Yeah.
Fucking so good. I used to play that so much back in the day. It's a fucking banger.
Yeah, I love that album.
Yeah, it's a great album. But I know it's late for you, Ross. Want to end it here?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
All right.
Happy enough with that.
Oh yeah, shout out to the chat, the real ones out there that support Wicket Clout. Love y'all. And we'll see you motherfuckers on the flip side. Peace, y'all.
Peace out.